Okay, so the first point that I want to bring up is my relationships in the game. I have three main points that I want to bring up, but the first one for this slide that I specifically want to say is downplaying the relationships that I've had with people. And so the two people that I really want to bring up in this conversation would be Trey and would be Greg. I'm going to start off with Trey just because I feel like I have a little bit more to say about Trey and I's relationship. Trey and I have had a secret duo since the beginning of the Flash Tribe. We have constantly given each other information throughout the game and constantly looked out for each other. I wouldn't be here without Trey. Trey would not be here without me. On multiple occasions, I was constantly keeping Trey's name out of the loop when it came to who we should vote out, such as there was a potential Trey vote at the final 7, according to Abigail, that I immediately shot down because why would we try to go for Trey when Heidi is right there? But I also know that Trey's also keeping an eye out for me. Take the final 5, for instance, where I was shutting down a Trey vote with the likes of Luke and Greg, while Trey was shutting down a vote for me with Greg and Luke at that point. And so with that, that's why Greg would have gone out there. Ultimately, we were just a constant channel of information for the two of us to have with each other. And so that's also why I say like the final 9 went the way that it did, because I was immediately told by Trey, hey, there's an alliance without you with these people. We need to do something about it to make sure that we're good. Something that I want to bring up that isn't inside of the slide is at the final 10, when we chose to work together that round. We knew that I wanted to get immunity that round. We didn't want to do a challenge to see because we were that close that we could just say, hey, do you want it? Sure, I'll take it. And so we made up this whole choose your own, like how far would you go challenge so that I could win and we could have a little bit of fun with it. That's why we made those fan edits of each other. Had a lot of fun doing that. I might add to the end of this speech for all I know. I'm still not done with it. But ultimately, I would not be here without Trey. And I know that Trey had my back this entire game, which is why I took him as far as I did, because I feel like he is not only an equal that I could potentially beat at the end, but also someone that I would not be here without. And I would hope that Trey would feel the same with me. The other person I want to bring up in this game is Greg, who I've had a very close duo with. In the pre-swap, it definitely fell off a lot at the actual merge, but when it comes to the swap, I'll bring this up one more time, where I was the person to find the idle clue at the swap tribe, and I immediately went to Greg saying, hey, I really want to lock in something with us. I know we were already close on Python, but I want to make sure that you know how much I want to work with you here. Here's what we're doing. We are going to make sure that we have this clue where if we need it, we can just get the idol. Granted, I didn't finish my sentence and Greg stole the idol before we did anything, but I wanted to show my loyalty at that point to Greg, which paid off in dividends because it was so easy to then vote out someone like Internet and Elise because I already had Greg, Trey, and Heidi. Also, I'm going to bring up really quick here other relationships that I had where I will want to bring in particular Trevor, Jolene, and Heidi. I'm not going to spend as much time just because I had less time with them. Trevor, I immediately grew a connection with and I actively did want to work with in this game. The only issue was, and I learned this later, and you'll see this later, is that Trevor was sussing people out too much. Trevor was someone that was very vocal about what they wanted to do in this game. And as much as I love that as a shield, I also realized that that's very difficult to work with, especially with someone that I just met the round before. And so as much as I love Trevor, I had to get them out. Jolene, I am so sorry. I came into that merge really wanting to have an open mind with you and wanting to work with you. But then when I realized that there was going to be an alliance without me in it, and granted, even if it blew up, it's still a red flag that I wouldn't be considered to even be a part of that alliance. I knew that I just wasn't the top priority, which is why I decided to vote for you there. On top of that, I really enjoyed our conversations and I was being 100% truthful to you until that day that I voted you out, because genuinely, I did enjoy our conversations. And then Heidi, I didn't bring you up a lot in my actual written statements, but I just want to mention how close I felt with you, and I really do think that you were a rock out there for a lot of people on this tribe. You are genuinely one of like the sweetest people that I've met in orgs, and I cannot sing enough praises to you. I'm so sorry that it ended up being the way that it did. Was going to tell you about the vote earlier. It's just I genuinely was on a walk getting my mail, and I didn't expect for the votes to be done that soon. And so I'm very sorry about that. But I genuinely want you to know, even if you don't vote for me, that I have really enjoyed our conversations. I do really consider you one of the sweetest people I've met in orgs. So